welcome. It's Captain Matt, Boater Secret Weapon. I want to thank you for joining us for this Sunday night live. We're getting ready to start here in just a couple of minutes here. We'll start about 8:30, but I wanted to welcome you. If you've never been to a live, here's what you can expect. Just go ahead and chat in your comment section, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube. Just ask your question, leave your comment there, and then as we go through the time, I just kind of scroll down all the comments and I try to answer them. Now, if it's something that I need to ask you a question, I may ask you a question and just put it in the chat again, and I'll come back and I'll get that information so I can give you a more personalized response, something that's going to really add value for you. This is just something I do. One, it's great fun. I really enjoy it. It's helpful for the community, just sharing my knowledge. Now, one thing that you need to know, I don't know everything about boats. I know a lot about boats. I've been a boater since I was 5. I've sold boats. It's something that is a big part of my life. With that said, I don't know everything. Matter of fact, sailboats, have zero experience with sailboats. Bass boats, very little experience there. Bow riders, deck boats, center consoles, jet boats, twin engines, stern drives, outboards, inboards, all of that I have experience with. And if I have an answer, I'll give you my best answer. If I don't have an answer, I'll try to give you a resource that will be valuable for you. If I have an opinion, I'll try to give you that opinion, but let you know this is what I think, not what I absolutely know. So I look forward to it. Here's a little video intro that a subscriber made for me. Thanks, Bo. And we'll see you on the live when it kicks off here in just a moment. Welcome, everybody. Merry almost Christmas. This will be our last live. Obviously, Christmas is next Sunday, so I will we won't be doing a live on Sunday, but welcome, everybody. We got a good crew with us: Jerry, Ray, Corey, Carson, Todd, and Brian. Welcome. We got a bunch of other folks on. I mentioned that last week that I'm going to do a drawing for a free t-shirt. So I guess you can see I've got this shirt on. Here, let me grab this one. I should have grabbed it earlier. This is a sweatshirt that I've got. This has the center console boat on it, and then it's got a big one on the back. But we'll do a drawing for a free shirt. You can pick whatever you want. And you've got the anchor, you've got the pontoon, you've got the center console, there's a bow rider, there's a jet boat / bow rider with a tower, and there is, what else is there? A dual console with a hard top, and then we've got a either a ship's wheel or a life jacket. I don't remember which one we did, but I can order all those. Tell me your size, tell me which one you want, and that will be it. We'll do that probably about a half hour in. So you'll notice as I'm talking today, I'm going to be writing down names. So here's what I want you to do is give the video a like, give it a thumbs up, and then put your name in, or just make a comment. Make a comment, and that will pop your name up or your username, and then I'll give you my email address. We'll lock you in, get your address, and get all that stuff via email, so you're not putting that out there for the whole world to see. And all I need is just a real name, so I can match that up. And I assume based on usual is I'm going to know somebody. I'm going to know whoever wins. So we'll do that. Just in the comments, just click the like button, whatever platform you're on, Facebook, YouTube. Click that like button, and then put your say, hey, I want to enter the drawing, or put something like that in the comments, and our t-shirt, and then I will go ahead and make the list and get that drawing done. We'll probably do it in about a half hour. All right, perfect. Thank you to thank you to the Facebook Live thumbs up. Hi, Mom. Good to have you. And everybody else, let's see who else we got on with us today. We got Mark Ferguson. Welcome in. We got Mike. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. I always love that. Casey Top Dog. That looks like a new one. We haven't seen you in before. Welcome to the channel. Let's see. We got Corey, a longtime viewer on the lives. Brian from West Virginia with his pontoon. Thanks for taking a look at those front supports. Order them. Yeah, let me know, Brian. Let me know how they work out when you get them. When you get them in, and you get some weight on it, you get some speed on the boat, and I think they're going to work well. And as long as the sizing of the tubes is good, I think you're going to be in great shape. And it looks nice too. I think that looks nicer than just the strap down, and that little, I don't know, that little stainless steel aluminum clip, whatever they use that you clip it on. After about 5 years, that gets worn out and it would break. They break all the time, so it'll be a little bit more durable for you. Eric, good to have you. I'd like to enter for the drawing. There we go. All right. Yeah, that'd be great, Brian. I appreciate it. Email me those. Todd, there you go. I'm going to need the size. Todd's already planning on winning. Todd, was that you that said your family was wondering why you didn't enter for the boat juice? That I've actually got the winner still here. That James Atland won. So yeah, definitely got to get it on the t-shirt drawing. There you go. We are in, what is it? In a couple of weeks, we're going up to one of the mountains up there to do tubing. We're meeting my in-laws up there, and gonna do some tubing with the kids and the grandparents and my brother and sister-in-law and their little girl. So that should be fun. It's not snowshoe, but it was one that we could find a place, like a house right on the hills, so we didn't have to drive anywhere. We could just hop on the things and go. So looking forward to that. Parents used to own a 1987 Rinker, the V170, so a V-Haul 17-foot Rinker. I hate that they ended the Rinker brand. What was that? Maybe 4 years ago or so. I always thought they built a nice boat. I sold a couple of used ones, like a 2005 or so cruiser. I don't remember what they called their cruiser line, but I always liked those boats. You helped me buy my first pontoon. Love it. Wife and kids are so happy. Well, that's awesome, Mike. That's the whole idea of this channel is, if you're gonna buy a boat, make sure that after your first year, you're loving it, that you're loving the lifestyle, you're loving the boat you chose, and you're doing it safely. You're having a good time out there. That's the whole idea. So, yeah, I thought that was you, Todd. I remember getting that email. So, Kanan, I don't know. My wife is in charge of all scheduling in our family. All right, so we got Carson. So let me write down these names. I'm just going to tear them up and pick them out. So, Jerry, you're in. I know that you had mentioned about doing a best boat captain and doing a drawing for that, or donating it. So just let me know how you want to do that, if you still want to do it, and we can definitely make that work. We got Ray, we got Corey. Let me know also. We're doing the drawing, and this is going to be just kind of a fun holiday one, but let me know what topics you have. If anybody's got a question, if anybody's got something that they want to chat about, just go ahead and drop that in the comments, and we will get your questions answered as well. Mark F, Mike C, KC Top Dog, Avalon, Avalon SLZ with the 90. So I'm not sure how to translate the Avalon, Avalon moniker, but single lounge Z. I don't know what the Z is for Avalon, but I'm guessing the SLSZ lounge. Yeah, now I really don't know what it is. I thought I had single lounge down, but who knows? But they are, I met I met one of the owners in my captain's class of Avalon, who was the sales and marketing president of sales and marketing, and he was a pretty good guy. We had some fun conversations about some of their marketing things. I think I talked about this on the last couple, um, where they did the um, I'm trying to write and talk here, but they did the kind of introduce pontooning to the saltwater world, letting them know that this is a seaworthy vessel, which I think they pushed it too far. But I think they are the ones that really opened up the they're the ones that opened up the pontoon market in saltwater. There nobody else was really even focusing on that, other than like the tour pontoon boats where you'd go out and you could do intercoastal tour or dolphin watching tour, or go seashell hunting on an island somewhere. Those big huge 40 people pontoons were fairly popular. Um, but it wasn't until they did that that pontoons really started coming out, and that was in probably like 2010ish or so. I is when I saw it, because I was still selling boats when I saw that, and I was like, man, that's an interesting concept. So, congratulations on that, Mike. Glad that you're loving it. We got Mike, we got you in. We've got yeah, just email me at captain at Boater Secret Weapon, Jerry, and we'll figure out. And also, I want to try to give it to somebody that's deserving. If you bought a boat, you're not in a financial hardship, but somebody that really needs it. So um, we'll come up with something good there. So, all right, let's see here. Brock, we got you. Made it back from Lake Kiwi. We had a fun little tournament. Just a few club guys this weekend. So, are these just fun tournaments, or are these in the money tournaments? And Brock, I'm going to put you in for the drawing as well. I don't know if you were on um, for that. Let's see. We're going to just look up your boat. That's what we're going to do, Mike. I always like to see what people have. Avalon LSZ 2285. LSZ Quad Lounger. All right, here we go. I know this isn't your boat, but I want to see the layout. This is what the Avalons have: the smooth exterior paneling, which covers the fence rails. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah. So I call that a center walkthrough. I really like that layout. That's what my parents have at the Ozarks. They've got the center walkthrough. They've got the two captain's chairs set up, so that makes this back section a little bit shorter. But it's a great it's super versatile, and it's open too. So you got room for coolers, you got room for gear, you got room for all that stuff. So, all right, perfect. That's good. I was at my marina yesterday, replaced all my anodes. Surprised how many boats were stored but not shrink wrapped. Also, how many power boats were still in the water this late. Yeah, that there's some up there I know that leave them year round, and the good thing is the corrosion starts really slowing down when the water gets cold, but the electrolysis can still be a problem if you've got that going on in your area. So yeah, it's fascinating to me when I walk through marinas, and anytime I'm by the water, I tend to walk the docks, or go to the restaurant at the water, whatever we're at on the coast or at a lake, and be around boats somewhere. It always just blows me away the number of times when people have a super nice boat and they don't cover it. They don't clean it. The bottom's just disgusting, or there are leaves in it, or there's, the covers all in and tore up and water pooling in it. And they don't take that little bit of extra time to, to take care of it, which is why a lot of boats break down, why I go through the used boat process with people, because a lot of times that deferred maintenance is going to cause problems for the next owner, a more expensive boating experience for the next boater, and try to avoid that. So congratulations on that one, Mike. That's great, great looking boat. Is Crestliner a good brand of boat? Yeah, Crestliner, they build some really nice aluminum multi-species boats. The modified V's, depending on which one you're looking at. But yeah, they do a really nice job. And the matter of fact, I sold them for a season. We sold them. It was not a market that our dealership really, our market area had that type of buyer, but our dealership didn't attract those buyers. Those buyers were going to some other areas. They had better relationships with other dealers, and we didn't do real well with them. But they were very well built boats, and they did a good job. So if that's the brand you're looking at and you're going new, like I tell everybody, make sure it's a good solid dealer, Carson. Make sure you have that relationship with the dealer, and because there'll be something that comes up, whether it's a question, whether it's a warranty item, whether it's you hit a stump while you're out fishing. Those kinds of things can happen, and you just want to make sure that that you have that good relationship there. If you're buying used, remember, after about 5 years or so, 5, 7 years, it's less about the brand of boat than it is about the condition of the actual boat that you're buying. So let's just say, a value brand versus a premium brand or a mid-tier brand. If that premium brand boat wasn't taken care of very well, well, that's going to be a worse purchase than a value brand that has been taken care of extremely well. And I would put Crestliner in that, mid to not quite premium, but quality is where I'd put them. So, all right. If you haven't commented, put a comment in so I can put you in the drawing for the free T-shirt. It'll look something like this. You get to pick out what it is. That's the same layout I have. Great for grandsons. Yeah, that's perfect. A lot of room. Get them all locked in. Just a little grudge match between us. Put $40 in. That's a pretty cool way to do it. $100 for the biggest fish. I like that. That's really cool. That's one thing that people I don't think realize that comes with boating is the social aspect of it. You know, yeah, you can go out fishing by yourself all day long, but you join a fishing club, and now you've got 10, 15, 20. I don't know how many guys are in Brock's club, but I do know that what they call them, slot machine. Brock, is that was your nickname one back in the day? Is you get a bunch of dudes together that enjoy fishing, that enjoy being on the water, that enjoy boating, talking trash back and forth. There's something to that I think people don't realize is going to come with boating. You're in a marina, and especially if you have a wet slip, and Jerry, you probably may experience this, is the camaraderie and the friendships that you establish with the people on the docks or the people that you go anchor out with. I know growing up, we had boating friends. We had friends that in the wintertime in Nebraska, you wouldn't see very often, but come summer, you get the boats out, and now you see them, every time you go to the water or on the weekends. And that's so common to gain the social aspect that comes with boating that I don't know everybody realizes. So, tournament season starts back in January 8th. That's a long season because I think you just ended like 2 months ago. I thought it was like October when you said you won the when you placed. So that's awesome. But that's an underrated piece. Looking at a U Sportsman 2232 center console. Don't believe they fill the gunnels with foam like other brands. Trying to decide if that's a pro or con. Maybe Brock can chime in. Yeah, Brock, go ahead and I'm gonna have to double check this. But Here's the thing is they all offshore boats are gonna have to float. Um, so there's some level of foam. Now, whether using blocks of foam or whether they're doing some type of a foam shot, I don't think they're doing a foam shot, but they certainly are using some level of foam up to a certain point in the gunnel, maybe in certain strategic areas, because they have to have that flotation in those types of boats to meet the standards. Um, how am I going to figure this out? They're 232. Okay. They've got a really great video series on how the sportsmen are made. Eric, if you want to check that out. Um, that was done, I want to say 2020. They shot that or when the first time I saw it anyway, and, Victor, their marketing guy, they put together a really nice series. It goes through the factory and, builds the whole thing out. Let me see if I can, um, how let's see if that pops it up. Yeah, so it's called Behind the Glass. I'm not gonna play it for you, but this is Eric, this is the series, and this is a year ago, so this was 2021, but they actually go into the factory and they show the layup process. That is Victor. I don't know if it's gonna be this one. Their layer of chopper for a nice smooth coat. So they may talk about in this section, but go watch that video series, Eric. And I know I'm 99% certain they use some level of foam, but where and how and the type I don't know. So that hopefully that will put you in the right direction. But that video series, even if you're um, even if you're not looking at the Sportsman brand specifically, it does a really good job of explaining how boats are built. Now, obviously, it's a marketing piece for Sportsman, so it's going to be geared towards what they do best and what they think is the right way to build things. And I use that as a hey, that is a pretty accurate description of the right way to do things in the most part, but there's a better way to do a few things, but that's going to really raise the cost up. I've actually been in, what was it, probably 2013 or so. I was at the Sportsman factory and had the opportunity to tour it and meet the CEO, meet his son-in-law that's now the president of the company, and met several people, talked to several dealers there. But they do a really nice job. And I think if you're looking at a 2018 Open, again, make sure that you're inspecting the specific boat that you're buying. But I'm pretty sure you'll find the other answers that you want in this video, because boat manufacturers don't change the way they build boats very often. Matter of fact, they'll run a particular mold and base boat. They might change the colors, they might change the upholstery options, but the molds stay the same, and that build sheet and the lamination schedule stays the same, usually for 5, most likely 7, maybe even 10 years if it's a really popular model, before they make any changes to it and freshen it up for the marketplace. So easiest way to run a depth finder cable from rear port of the helm on a skin tri-tune. Unfortunately, Gary, if you can't get a fish tape to where you need it to be, depending on the brand, they may have a chafe resistant tubing that they've run all the wire through. Maybe, hopefully, they ran a spare wire that you can chase and hook up to, pull the one you want through, and pull your next chase wire if you ever need to do it again. If that's the case, you can do that. If they haven't done that, unfortunately, what you may need to do is you may need to drill out the rivets, and you may need to drop a section of that aluminum skin so you can get to everything that you need, and you can wire it up, maybe add the chafe resistant tubing if it's necessary. But a lot of times you're going to have to drop a portion of that skin down and then put it back up. When you put it back up, you can screw it in. Just make sure you're using a big enough screw and the right metal so that you don't cause further issues, galvanic corrosion. Or put the best thing to do is put a plastic washer in there so that you don't have metal on metal, if that makes sense. That little plastic washer will protect it from, it'll make it be nice and snug, but it'll protect from that dissimilar metals and causing that galvanic corrosion, which could be a problem down the line. So hopefully that makes sense, Gary. If you have, drop another question if there's something I didn't state clearly there. Put you in the drawing here, and then we got Al. Welcome, Al. Good to have you. Al's been on before. I recognize that name. How often should you get your outdrives repainted? If the paint is wearing off, do it immediately, especially for you. If you're leaving your boat in the water, the Volvo paint, same thing with the Mercruiser's Phantom Black, but there are anti-corrosive properties to that paint. That's the first line of defense, and it's a really, really good line of defense. So if you have any areas where the paint is eaten away, chipped away, even on your skeg, if you're leaving the boat in the water, I would get that repainted. The skeg is probably if you start getting some corrosion there, it's got to go a ways up till it gets to the main gear case. But that paint is critical. That paint is stopping the corrosion from starting as quickly as it would without it. So especially if you have that chip or that ding somewhere near where those dissimilar metals are, like around the prop hub, you've got your gear case where the prop sits in, that ring is going to be very susceptible because you've got that stainless steel prop sitting here and you've got your aluminum gear case here. They're very close, so that's going to be susceptible. You've got your, I'm trying to think of what an outdrive looks like, where you've got your rams, those are going to be stainless steel, and you've got your aluminum right next to it. Anywhere you have those dissimilar metals close by is where that corrosion is likely to start quicker. And it's a cheap and easy thing to do, but it makes a world of difference. That will save you from having, the next time you pull it, you're like, man, that I left it in all year last year and it was fine. But this year I pull my drives and my drives are destroyed. Well, because last year the paint was brand new and it had 100% protection. If you don't sand and paint and do it the right way with the right type of paint, not just a gray paint, but Volvo's gray paint. I don't know if they call it for sure, but Volvo's gray paint with the corrosive inhibitors in it. It'll happen quicker next time. So, yes, electrician's tape is one way. If you can get up everywhere that you need to be, usually under your helm. This is back to running the depth finder wire down through the boat. Usually under the helm, you're going to see a little cutout that it might have a little sleeve around it. It might have some type of a rubber plug in there to keep water from splashing up, but it's usually going to have a rubber wrap around it that's going to protect water from getting up there and keep everything bunched together. If you can go down through there, and then just start running it down. But again, you don't really want that wire just loose hanging down there, because it's going to get chafed, right? You never know what it's going to be hitting, whether it's running on a cross member, whether it's just rubbing up against a screw maybe, and now your depth finder goes out in 2 years and you're trying to figure out what it is. So if you can get in that chafe resistant tubing, or just depending on how how easy it is to access everything you need to. What what manufacturers do and what people that are skilled at this will do will usually run it through the M bracket, and there'll be a channel where they're going to run all the wiring and it's all together, and then they're going to tack it. They're going to put some sort of wire harness or run it through a chafe resistant tubing so that it's all protected from the elements and from chafing and from any of that stuff I just mentioned. I believe you're right. I don't think they fill the gunnels with foam. Um, as a pro, since I'm not waterlogged over. Yeah, it's one of the it's the pro and con of foam, right? Um, Boston Whaler and Grady White build awesome boats, and they've got the foam. But if you go back to a 1990 or an early 2000 boat, and you weighed that boat that wasn't properly cared for, they didn't seal up all the screw holes and re-caulk it with the anywhere where the caulk got dried out, reseal everything with the sealant, and water started seeping in. Those boats can be 500 pounds heavier because that foam gets waterlogged. And yes, it's closed cell, which means that it's got a wrap around it, and it won't just, if you submerge it in water, it won't suck that water up. But the first time you put a screw through it, you break that outer cell, and now that it'll just act as a sponge over time, and it can cause a problem. But again, I know it's been a while since I've watched these videos, but I know it says it in there somewhere that how they handle that requirement to float, even if it takes on water. So one season in, most of the Christmas cards you got family slipped us. Yeah, it's that social aspect, especially when you're in a marina, is huge. It's one of the things I remember doing a testimonial video when I was selling boats with I would go down to the docks and I would just talk to people that I became friends with. But when I first started, I kind of wanted to build a relationship with them. I wanted to find out why they chose to work with the dealership that I just started with. And so I'd take my video camera down there and I would say, why did you choose your boat? What do you like about the marina? Time after time, they talked about the social aspect of being on the docks and the marinas and the friends that they've made. And that theme came up over and over and over with clients. And it's a big one. It's a real big one. Your channel is very useful. Best channel for people who love boats. Thank you, Carson. You can't bribe your way into the winning. I've got your name down here, Carson M. But you can't bribe your way with flattery. Although I do love it. Let's see. Thank you for that comment. I was just joking about the bribery. We have 52 guys for next season. 48 of them have boats. Yeah, our season runs January to October. Really good. You qualify to fish the Federation tournament in November. That's awesome. Any boat over 20 feet is not required to have float. Is that right? I thought it was the larger boats that were required. What boats are required to have? Well, hot dang, you're right, Jeff. All outboard powered boats under 20 feet long are required by federal law to have upright and level flotation. Stern drive outboard powered are required to have it. This is also a requirement of the ABYC. Is the ABYC Man, I thought it was the other way around. All right. Well, thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. Jeff, you go in the drawing. Jeff, I hope I'm only writing down Jeff K. I don't think we have any duplicates. Called Behind the Glass. Yeah. That's a good one. Good deal. Gary, I think Gary, we got you on here. Gary M. Yeah, that's Drop anchor. What do you think is the best do-it-all boat fishing and wake sports? Um, Drop anchor. It depends on. Give me a little bit more. Where are you at? What kind of budget do you have for? And when I say budget, are you a I drive the best of the best, or I like the nice stuff, but I like to be in that mid range. Or hey, I want the biggest boat for my money because that the best. A lot of it comes down to finances, and a lot of it comes down to how you view things. So I am not a luxury guy. I'm a value guy that likes quality. So I put myself in the mid tier. I also, because I don't have, like, I don't care about if it's new or used. My opinion is, personally, this is for me. I try to take my opinion out of it when I create my content for people, but my opinion is I would rather buy a little bit higher quality with the options that I'd want and go used, um, because I think you get more for your money. There's people like Brian. Brian said, "Hey, I'm buying my first boat. I want to buy brand new because I really feel better with that warranty." Okay, then that's best for him. We have a different outlook on things, and that personal take really comes into play in my mind when you're looking at the best. When you're saying fishing and water sports, what in my mind goes to is something like here and where you boat makes a little bit of difference because having having a stern drive to do water sports is going to be better than an outboard. It's going to give you a better wake for wake boarding, wake surfing. You have to have a reverse drive, which you aren't going to find many of those. Um, that have the fishing set up, but my mind goes to something like a hurricane deck boat that's going to have removable fishing chairs, bow and stern. They're going to have some fishability, but with the stern drive, you're going to have a reasonable wake to do some wakeboarding behind you. If you go with the outboard version, you can still wakeboard, but you're just not going to get a very as tall of a wake with that setup. The more wake you have, or the more weight you have, the bigger wake you'll have. But something along those lines that sort of does the fish and ski. The deck boat's going to give you a little bit more weight on the boat overall. It also depends on the water that you're. What size do you need? And that hurricane value, maybe low mid tier to value, somewhere in that range. Stingray builds something that would fit that and do the fishing and whatnot. So let me see what other keep drop anchor. Put some more details in on your specific area. And it's not Hurricane's just a brand that popped into my head that had that particular boat. So don't it's not, oh, Hurricane's great. It's Hurricane. With that Hurricane boat that I'm thinking of would do really well for that. But there are several others. Let me check boats. Let me pull up what I mean by the layout model. Yeah, this and if this sport deck, again, when you put the tower on, now you limit your fishability. That tower can get in the way a little bit, but these Hurricanes, not this model, but will oftentimes give you ability to put a removable fishing chair up in the bow. This one's got a different deck or a different transom, so it doesn't have that. Let's see if they're. Yeah, you can put a fishing chair right there, but you could stand and you could cast there and you could cast there. It would still give you a nice, um, with the stern drive, give you a nice wake. That's something along those lines is what I would be thinking. The one negative to that with the is the Hurricanes and a lot of these deck boats have a very flat bottom, a very shallow dead rise. The flatter it is, the less water it's going to push out and the smaller the wake will be. The deeper the dead rise, the more displacement it's going to have. It's going to push out more water, which is going to give you a bigger wake if you're really serious, if you're more serious about getting air and doing jumps and things like that. If you have the tube already, cables, you can tape shop vac to one end, take a small rope and suck it to the other end. Oh, that's Brock. I should have known that you would have a great answer for that. All right. So I'm going to leave this up here. So if you have the tube already with the cable, so you've already got your chafe resistant tubing, and you go up to where the input is, and the helm probably is going to be the easiest place to access. You can kind of crawl in there and get your hand in, get your shot vac, the suction going, and let that suction pull that rope up. That's a great idea. I would have never, ever in a million years come up with that. Thank you, Brock, for sharing that. That was very good. Hey, so all right, Gary, you got to let us know. You got to come back and let us know if that worked. And that right there is a huge. I'm telling you, if you have to drop the aluminum off and you have to drill out those rivets and put them back up, it's kind of a pain. And you've got this, like, you don't want to drop it all, but there's very seldom it's just drop it. It's easy access. You drop it, and then you got to work around that dropped aluminum panel, and it's a nightmare, but sometimes necessary. So if that works, you owe Brock a big old thank you. So had to do it a few times. Finally broke down and bought some flexible fiberglass fish sticks. Made a really good friend. I would call my brother fishing in the club down here. My dad fishing in the same club back in Maryland for 40 years. Yeah, it's if you think about it, it makes total sense. Your friends are people that you have a lot in common with, and this boating gene that we all have, that on a Sunday in December when it's freezing cold where you are, we've decided we're going to get on this live and we're going to talk boats for an hour and a half, whatever it turns out to be tonight. And so you find those people that are in your local area that like the specific thing, whether it's surfing or whether it's just going to the sandbar and hanging out, or fishing or overnighting, or just, hanging out at anchor and grilling out. And, it's amazing. It's amazing those connections that you make, and lifelong. I mean, there's people that I know that we grew up, the guy that taught my brother and sister and I all how to ski. And his brothers were our group of boating friends. They were friends in other ways too, but a lot of my boating memories go back to the Hankey family, and, the very first boats that they had, and the relationship with their kids that were like brothers and sisters to us, that 40 some years later are still, I could pick up the phone and call any one of them, and there's that instant connection. Haven't seen them, for one of them lives in Colorado. A lot of them live back in Nebraska. But, if I were to run into them somewhere, it would be like instant connection. Or when I'm back home and there's a chance that we can get together at a wedding or an event, it is, yeah, we reminisce all the times that we had. So, even though we've all kind of gone our own direction and families and all that, makes a big difference. All right. My uncle owns an Aluminicraft. Aluminicraft is a good solid boat as well. With that said, BRP has introduced their new outboard motor, their Rotax outboard, which I'm afraid is going to really wreak havoc on Manitou and Alumacraft if they push that on the dealers and they don't allow these boats to be powered with other sources. But previous to this model year 2023, Alumacraft has done a really good job as well. Did you see the rule proposal, current administration limiting boat speeds? Yes. So the right whales, there's restrictions in place already, but it's seasonal, and it's limited in scope. The and I did a post on this on the YouTube channel. When did I discover it? I am on some like political action committees. I'm not a political guy, but there's a in the boating industry, um, there is a group, the National Marine Manufacturers Association has a here. This is the type of shirt. That's what it looks like on the back. That my daughter was my model. Let's see here. Where am I at? 7 months ago. It wasn't that long ago. But you can go and you can sign up. Uh, I'll have to find it because I'm not. I thought I'd be able to find it. Oh, there we go. There we go. Boating United, not Boat Owners United, the Facebook group, but Boating United is that will, if there's ever any legislation that's submitted, and it's boating industry specific and boater specific, but boatingunited.org, you can sign up to get on their email list, and anytime legislation comes out in the US that they feel is going to negatively impact boaters or boating, you'll get a notification. I got the notification saying, "Hey, they're way overreaching. They're putting the speed zone restriction, which is idle speed, by the way, for 90 miles off the coast from Maine down to, I want to say it was down to northern Florida. Now, it wasn't 90 miles off everywhere. That 90-mile stretch was up in the Northeast. But the right whales they're going extinct. We need to take care of them. I agree 100% that we need to pay attention, and that we need to do everything we can to not cause any inflict any damage and kill any more of them. With that said, like if you looked at the actual numbers, there's 500 of them, 400 to 500 of them alive right now, and they used to be in the thousands. Propeller strikes from pleasure craft has killed one in the last year. That's one of the numbers that I heard as I was kind of researching before I put my post out. But so the speed restriction is for like a 6-month, 8-month period of time when they're in their mating season and when they're in those waters. But there's no it's just so blanket. This is what we're going to do versus, well, if they're not in the area, then it doesn't matter one way or another. You're putting a speed zone restriction, a no wake restriction for 10 miles to 90 miles out, which is going to kill the charter fishing industry in those areas during those times. You just can't go 50 miles at idle speed and get out to the fishing grounds. So I think that they put too big of restrictions and didn't really think through it from a more common sense approach, which I know never happens in the political world. But so you can go, if you want, go check out Boating United. Just put in your email address and your zip code, and they'll send you like, hey, send this to these people and let them know that you disagree if you disagree with it, or let them know you support this if you support it. And it just keeps you up to date on that stuff. I've talked to who did I talked to somebody at NMMA in their political action group, and he's the one that turned me on to it and said, "Hey, share this with people." So there you go. I shared it. They call me the mayor at my marina when I needed a repair. I got random phone calls, friends making sure I was okay. Still talk to most of them a couple times a month. Still talk on the water. Yeah. That's hey, I was in need of something, and they, what can I do? Hey, this is talk to this mechanic. Don't talk to that mechanic. I got a great source for parts, whatever. And it's just a community like not many others that are out there. Does Aluminacraft build a reliable boats? Yes, the boats are rock solid. I mentioned I mentioned the BRP Rotax engine. Never seen it, never run it. Just looking at how it's designed, not a fan. in my experience. Maybe there's something about it that is they've solved a problem that hasn't been solved in boating before, which is water gets everywhere. First time you open up something like that, the all of the technology and keeping the water out at some point is going to fail. Just it's bound to. There's never been something invented in boating that am aware of that hasn't allowed water to get in if you don't do all of the proper maintenance all of the time. And that seems to be putting the block in a situation where it's submerged, and if there's a failure, it's going to get drenched. Seems like a bad idea. So, but the boats themselves are solid. North Carolina mountains, so inland lakes less than 100K. Funny you said hurricane. Yeah, that's yeah. Hurricane is a they've been building similar boats for a long time, and there are better boats on the market for sure, but you get a lot of boat for your money. And when you start mixing fishing with other pleasure stuff, they do it well. Let's see here. What did I say? Stingray. Stingray is going to do something very similar. Matter of fact, this is that's a center console. Stingray boats. Deck boats. So anything with this big front platform is, oh, and you're not seeing this yet. Anything with this big front platform drop anchor is right there, a good casting platform. Now, I don't know that Stingray is doing any stern drives these days. I think they have moved exclusively to outboard. But again, if you're not worried about getting the big air, an outboard's going to be fine. But the stern drive will give you a little bit bigger wake. Fish boots. Bayliner is going to be, it's going to be a value model, but United States, but their 21 element might be, let's see here. Yeah, they don't have that casting platform. Yeah, you don't have quite the same casting platform on there. You got a little bit more on the back with the 2-tier, but that I don't think that's going to do as well. But that's what I would look for is that deck boat style that's got a big platform up top that you can probably mount fishing seats to, and I think that's going to be a good deal. Yes, Chaparral builds a premium level boat. Carson, if you want, go to the channel. If you're looking for my opinion on brands, go to the channel and look at best and worst. I've done these best and worst videos for center consoles, pontoons, bow riders, and deck boats and cruisers. You can go there. I have not done one, Carson. I have not done one for aluminum boats, but you can get my opinion and based on actually inspecting boats, going to boat shows, taking pictures, and I show you why I feel this way versus that way, why I rate them, why I rate them the way that I do. You can go check out those videos, and I review, if you look at this one, pontoons, 41 pontoon manufacturers on the bow riders. I don't know what that number was, bow riders and deck boats, but you can go check all those out. There's a deck boat review, and not a ton of people building deck boats anymore, but check those videos out. I think you'll get a lot out of them. This morning was probably the coldest weather I've had on the Ranger out. Thought it was too 30 degrees for about 4 minutes. So it took a while to warm up. Or much louder. One of these guys. Yeah, it's been when I was selling boats, I would run in the cold a lot. I remember running a 26-foot Regal in December. A couple bought it, came up from Texas, from Austin, Texas, I think. And it was snowing here in Charlotte. We were out there and there was flurries out. I was all bundled up and I was prepared for it. They came up from Texas and they weren't quite as prepared for a run on a lake in the snow, especially here in Charlotte. And yeah, it's a little different getting out there on the water in December with the snow in your face and the cold water running through the engines. Um, had a 97 Ranger with an old EFI 225. Yeah, there's a my wife told me there's a lady that makes candles 2 doors down from us, and she's like, "Oh, you should get her to make like a boat smelling candle, the smell of lakes or the smell of the ocean or something." I was like, if I can get her to make the 2-stroke candle, that might be a great option to offer. If I could have just had that idea in time for Christmas, I'll have to talk to her and see if she can make that. You have to supply your own rumble though. Could have rained this morning. There would have been snow, 21 degrees at 5 a.m. Yeah, you got to be careful on the docks on those days. You're welcome, Drop Anchor. All right, so we're coming up on an hour here. I'm going to read off the names that I have. If you're on and you haven't commented yet, like the video or like it, and then comment, and I'll put your name in. Yes, see, I knew that they sell them. Somebody sells them, but they're like $60 for a little candle. They were super expensive. But I have a feeling that would be a popular item. All right, so here's who I've got. I've got Brock, Gary M, Al, Jeff K, Drop Anchor, Jerry, Ray, Corey, Carson, Todd, Brian, Mark F, Mike C, Casey Top, Eric, and Carson M. I think I may have Carson down twice. So if I didn't say your name and you're in, just drop a comment. I'll give you another minute. I'm going to tear these up, and then we'll do a quick drawing out of the Santa hat and see who wins the T-shirt. You can buy these at the website. When I draw your name, all you got to do is email me, and I will find out what size you want, what logo you want, and where you want it sent. I'm gonna have to order it. I'm actually ordering it because I don't stock any shirts. So I'm not sure when it'll show up, but it'll show up faster than the one I sent Brock. I told him I would send him a shirt just for being such a big value to the channel and sharing his information, like using the vacuum cleaner and a rope to run your fish finder wire. So I just sent it to say thanks, but it took me like 6 months to get that to him. So, all right, here we go. Nobody else has put a comment in. All right. So the big drawing, let's see here. Let me grab my hat. All right, I'm not going to fold them up. I'm just going to throw them in there. You guys can trust me. All right, so here we go. If you got any last questions, put them in. And all right, so the winner is Jerry. You win the shirt. So I've got one. Let me see. I'll show you all my logos. I don't know that I've got a cruiser. That's the one style I don't think I have. I've got the ship's wheel. You can see that. Let me go big screen for you. So congratulations, Jerry. You win. We got the ship's wheel. You've got just the anchor. That's the one I usually wear. You got I call that this one the dual console. With that, that's the drawing that I gave the guy was of a dual console. That's what he came up with. We've got the pontoon. You've got the bow rider or jet boat with the tower. And then we've got the bow rider without a tower. That looks more like the Chris Craft launch than it. And then we've got, I think that's it. Center console with the T-top. Yeah, so just let me know which of those that you want. And you know what the heck? We're going to do one more. I'm feeling festive. All right, so Jerry gets one. And the next one is Brock. You got the second one. So that's for your vacuum cleaner one. So, all right, just to show you guys, everybody was in there. We got Carson. I think Carson ended up in there twice even. Carson, Mark. Yeah, Carson was in there twice. Carson, Mike. So congratulations, you guys. Brock, send me your information. It's the size and everything. Gary M was in there. Al. So anyway, everybody was in there, but Jerry and Brock came out the winners. So congratulations, you two. Shoot me an email, the size you want, the design you want, and oh crap. There we go. Here. So I did that whole thing and you guys couldn't see, huh? Sorry about that. But Mike, Al, Carson. So sorry about that. Should have been on. So Jerry and where did they go? Brock and Jerry are the big winners. Shoot me an email, captain@Boater Secret Weapon, and and we'll get you guys the shirts ordered and sent your way. So you are welcome. Merry Christmas to everybody. And hope you guys get to spend some time with family and the ones that you love. And I will be back. Let's see. Well, if that's Christmas, New Year's Day, I don't know. What do you guys think about doing it New Year's Day? Let me know. I don't know if I'll do it New Year's Day or not. We'll have to see how New Year's Eve goes and what we have coming up after that. So I'll let you know. But Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate the support. Appreciate you guys being part of the channel, sharing your experiences, your knowledge, asking your questions, and just being a part of everything that we do. I think we are building a great community here, and a lot of it has to do with you core guys that are on these lives every week. I really, really appreciate it, and we'll catch you guys in 20. Yeah, shoot, we'll catch you in 2023, I guess. Take care, everybody. Good night.